I remember when I was younger, in terms of if we're talking education, when you start looking, you look, well, this is my experience at least, you look for the answer,
Yep.
right? You think there's an answer, one specific, and you're going around looking for that. But the more you sort of read and the more you sort of delve into this sort of stuff, you realize it's a very personal journey. Would you say that what were you like around that time in terms of just coming out of school? I mean, I know you've been a little bit public about your journey, but and obviously if you read the book, you're going to have a good understanding, but maybe provide a bit of light on that, Joey.
Well, I left my idea of success because it was very specific, was film, was
Mm-hmm.
being this high, I guess, proficient actor, director, writer, whatever, which for me, and it was not so much focused on money for two reasons. One, I figured succeeding at that would give me more money than I ever really wanted and needed.
Be
And
the
second,
byproduct, right? It
yeah,
would just be the
yeah,
byproduct. Yeah.
byproduct, which is probably how it should be anyway.
Yeah.
And secondly, I'd grown up always with money. Family's very well off, if not wealthy.
Yeah.
So for me, I was always desensitized to
Mm-hmm.
money as a motivator
Yeah.
because I'd always been comfortable. So it was never like my priority. Whereas a lot of people I notice who are really into the hustling kind of vibe grow up anxious about money, not having a lot of it.
Sure.
So it makes it fair, and it's very understandable. You want to be well in the clear. You want to have a buffer. Yeah. So for me, it wasn't really warped, but it was also, yeah, it's a struggle to find the answer. And that was very clear with film. How do you make a film career happen? This is why all the so-called linear pathways as are more attractive and very seductive as they were to me. Because I was never
Yeah.
really, no one, people were happy to help, but no one really grabbed me and really encouraged me to go do the film. No one was like, no, 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 you can do it. But everyone was always happy to make an introduction or help. I had
Yeah.
just a severe lack of confidence and I just didn't know how to materialize it. I didn't know how to develop and tap into a network doing it, and I was very afraid to make those steps. So it's it was a very tricky thing, and it's a very tricky thing finding the answer because we're given this idea a lot of the time through schooling that there is an answer. The tests give you marks, right or wrong. Everything is marked, assessed. There's not normally a this wasn't the answer we were looking for, but we'll give you bonus points for a well thought out, extension of this argument. It was, does this fit the script that
Yeah.
we're looking for? And so you're giving this impression, part of it from the culture, that there is an answer. And it's very, very harmful because in reality, there is no answer. There is no black and white about right and wrong.
Yeah.
The world. There's no, we call it the blue unicorn principle in Constant Student, around the song of the blue unicorn, which is this blue unicorn sees the sun, it's a nursery rhyme. It's a little nursery rhyme or kind of fairy tale thing where this blue unicorn is trying to copy everyone. It goes around all these different worlds. The sky is singing this song, the mountains are singing this song, and it tries to fit in, but they go, no, you're not one of us. You're a blue unicorn. You got to go find your song. This is ours. And so it's trying to find the way. It's trying to find the answer. And in this nursery rhyme, it just comes to a river in the end, the land of clear waters, I think it's called. And it looks in the reflection and it sees itself. And it goes, at last, someone like me. And then it starts singing. And then in the end goes, and the song was the best song that was ever sung. And it was part of everything, but it was unique. And so I find that fascinating. Like this blue unicorn principle that there is no way, there is the best way for you. The best way for me to write a book, Luke, is very different to the best way to you to write a book, because you and I have very different abilities. So if I'm going to try and stand on a mountain and give you the way, it won't really work. I need to know what your abilities are. I didn't know what you're good at. It's different when it's very small, small micro tasks or the very first steps of something, when it's very, very simple, and we call them simple systems. For example, turning on a laptop, or where to go to buy.
There is a way with that.
There is a way. But the more, complex it is, the less there is one way. So that's why I believe that education should be reorganized. Information is the center of communication, education right now. right? You sit in classes, you're delivered content, and you're meant to, by learning that content, you're meant to grow. I feel
Yeah.
like experience and community should become the focus of education, because you will learn through your experiences, and community is like supporting you to figure out your way. So what's the way
Yeah.
you can accelerate you figuring it out? Having support, having people who can be collaborators, who can bounce off you, who can give you perspectives, people alongside you rather people ahead of you trying to say, here, this is the way. And there's, so this is,
School
that's a
does
very
that.
big, that's very different to how we're doing education now. It's almost a complete 180.
It points directly to you go through school. This is my analysis of it. Obviously, I haven't
Yeah.
thought as deeply as you have, but
Yeah.
you go through school, you get a certain amount of you go through school thinking you're essentially good or bad at
Yes.
certain subjects, and that changes based on. I mean, you can't say one thing. It's there's so many different variables as to why you believe you're, smart or not at different subjects. But it leads towards the ATAR or the HSC or whatever it is, and
Yep.
then a lot of people tie their identity towards that, which is a problem. Because
You're
then what if
almost
they don't get
forced
a good
to.
mark? What?
You're
Yeah, I know, because
you're almost forced to.
society is saying like,
This is how good you are.
yeah, this is your device. You're deducted to a mark.